Yes, guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope everybody's had a good weekend or at least tried to find a way to forget about everything that's been going on in this club, not just this week, but over the last couple weeks, because it has been a really sad fall from grace. From a position where people were dreaming of a title race, a position where I think we were unbeaten for like 12 to 15 games. Now we're sitting here with 2 wins in our last 10 or 11 or however pathetic the stats meant to be. And honestly, for the first time in ages, it genuinely feels like, to me at least, every single aspect of this football club is just stinking from top to bottom. And I'm going to address every single area of this club in this video because I have a lot of opinions about every aspect, from the sporting directors to the owners to the players to the manager, and I also want to address certain narratives based off the way I view all of this. People getting at me for only talking about certain situations now, and I'm going to explain that sort of logic as well. So hit the like button, subscribe, all of that crap. And yeah, Chelsea are a mess. Chelsea are an absolute mess. So we got battered 3-0 at Brighton, deservedly so. Never really looked like putting up a fight bar the first 10 minutes. And then even then, all it was 2 Cole Palmer chances and a chance for us to transition and catch them out on a 2v1. But Noni Madueke didn't even want to try and win the duel. He decided he wasn't really on it. But in terms of our players, you can tell that a lot of them just aren't on it anymore. Like, you look at the way that our wingers performed, you compare them to the way that Brighton's wingers performed. Look at Mitoma, for example. Like, Mitoma absolutely cooked our team 2 games in a row. Meanwhile, we see Pedro Neto on the other side struggling to even win a one-on-one duel against Tariq Lamptey. You've got Sancho just getting dominated left, right and centre by Minter. Both of them were absolutely awful with their 1v1s. And neither of them showed any directness towards the goal either. Like, the thing about Noni, as frustrating as he is he's the only person that's actually going to make the runs in behind. He's the only person that's actually going to try and drive the ball towards goal and try to threaten the goalkeeper. And it says a lot that he's the only one that can give us that in this squad. But here we are. Cole Palmer, another underwhelming game. Like, I've told you before, I'm sick of a lot of people saying, oh, Cole Palmer's going to leave soon and all of this. Miss me with all of this and hold him accountable for the bad performances that he's having as well. The same way as everybody else. Like, our midfield lacks so much physicality without Lavia because it's literally just Caicedo. And Caicedo looks like he's being ran into an early grave. No striker means we have 0 focal point to try and find in the box. And I'll be so real. I feel like a lot of us are starting to learn how important Nicolas Jackson is to this squad, even in spite of the frustrating finishing that he's shown over the last 2 months, which I'm not going to try and argue people down from. He's been poor. But without him, look, the centre-backs are having the time of their lives defending against us. Like, you hate his finishing as much as you want, but nobody else is forcing mistakes from the centre-backs the way Nicolas Jackson does. No one else is dragging centre-backs around the pitch and opening up space for our wingers the way Nicolas Jackson does. No one else is giving us the link-up play. No one else is driving the ball forward. No one else is making the runs that Nicolas Jackson makes off the ball. And it's such a shame that his finishing has fell off a cliff. Otherwise, we probably wouldn't even be having this conversation right now because we would have won a couple more games leading up to this disaster at Brighton. But this is why we miss Nicolas Jackson. This is why I've been critical, but I've always said he's an important player in the squad because look how much we're struggling without him in the team. And it all just comes down to our poor squad planning. But I'm going to get into that in a little sec because I'm still on the players. Noni, for as lazy as he is defensively, I've already said we need someone that's direct getting in behind. And he's the only winger that really does it. The centre-backs, each one of them is as dumb as the last one. That first goal, the wonder goal from Mitoma. How is Chalobah allowing him to even make that touch? Such little pressure applied on him. Levi Colwill, a disgrace. An absolute disgrace. One of the most pathetic mentalities I've ever seen. This guy makes 2020 Andreas Christensen look like an absolute machine in terms of his physicality. And I've even seen videos of this guy lazily jogging in transition as the centre-back. Speak for yourself on that one. But that's me all done with the players. I'm going to go to the manager because everyone says I'm trying to protect Enzo Maresca with all of this. No, Maresca has to be held accountable too. The mentality's pathetic. Man discarded last week's cup game, all to get embarrassed even worse this week. Man managed to one-up the bad performance that we had in the FA Cup. We don't take the cup seriously. Like, one thing I've noticed is that we've stopped pressing the opposition in their first phase of play, all while we leave ourselves still high up the pitch. And it's so baffling because all it takes is one ball over the top and they're already through on goal. Like we saw for the first goal against Brighton. Like we saw numerous times against Manchester City. Like, we heard we were going to change things up for this game and we didn't. That was the exact same football that we saw from the cup game. Could not have made it easier for Brighton to defend against us. Because when we're playing that high up and we're not really pressing them, or nowhere near of the same intensity as we've shown in past weeks, we just make it very easy for them to pick their passes and pick their moments. And then you see positions like the first goal, like multiple other times where we get caught in transition. At least now we're changing the players a bit earlier, but we need to try and start something different. We need to stop inverting these fullbacks. Look, we need to try and get somebody making runs in behind. It's mad because Tyreek George came in and he started doing it and none of our other wingers were doing it. I don't even want to throw him into games in this sort of situation, but you need a winger that's going to make runs in behind. And in terms of Nkunku, you got to really just leave him in the final third. Leave him in the final third and try and get runners around him. And I feel like we actually tried to do that at the start of the game. And then Madueke comes off injured. So to be fair, I'm not even going to hold him accountable for that one. But I'm going to hold him accountable for the run of forms that we've been on. 2 wins in our last 10 games is pathetic. And I'm not going to defend that. If we cannot play the way that you want us to play, you need to drop back a little bit more. You need to be a little bit more pragmatic. You need to be a little bit more direct. Even Pep has shown that when the back's against the wall, he's willing to do that. But we're not willing to do that. It's all looking a lot too Ange for my liking. None of this high line for life, mate. No, if it's not working, it's not working. Do something that works and try and get some results by any means necessary. Not this whole insanity thing of doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results, because that's not going to work. That's just not going to work. But now, let's talk about these sporting directors, because it's all coming from up above. And I've already seen people trying to run this stupid narrative of, oh, you didn't talk about the sporting directors last season. Why are you talking about them now? Simple, you dummies. We could have got top 4. We could have got the Carabao Cup last season. We had 1 game a week and our manager was injuring half of our squad every single match day. And the fact that we were able to get a structure and win 5 games in a row at the end of the campaign shows that we could have done that if we had done that earlier and not thrown away such easy results like Sheffield United, Burnley, Manchester United and all the other results that you can go and research for yourself. The difference is we didn't build on that team that could have got top 4. We didn't build on that team that could have won the Carabao. We stagnated. The only area of the squad that we have improved this season is the wings. And it's genuinely just Sancho. It's genuinely just Sancho. Like Neto doesn't even deserve to be called the improvement either. Him and Noni are a straight mid-off. Straight mid-off. And right now, Noni's winning, to be honest. Says a lot. So the only area that we've improved on is the wings. Meanwhile, Nottingham Forest have improved. Meanwhile, Bournemouth have improved. Meanwhile, Newcastle have improved. And we just haven't improved enough. because the last two windows have been absolutely self-sabotage. It's been a complete sabotage from these sporting directors. Like, Maresca has a very rigid system, but ultimately you would have known that from the interview. So you don't go and get him all the profiles that he needs, setting everybody up for failure. We all saw Jackson dropping form, and you lot didn't go out in the window for a striker. You didn't go and get any competition. We've been asking for that for 3 windows in a row. You have loaned out crucial depth in João Felix, in Renato Veiga. Disasi's gone on loan as well, for whatever that's worth. And a lot of that was done, had personal terms done immediately, before we even got our terms agreed. Shows how quickly they wanted to get out of the door. All because of the lack of game time, which does also come back to the manager as well. But you loaned that depth out, and you've also indirectly weakened our Conference League squad. I dare you fail to deliver a trophy. I dare you. You are the guys that have brought in manager after manager after manager, and it's been underachievement after underachievement after underachievement. And I said after Pochettino got sacked that the finger is being pointed at you guys now. If we fail to get our targets this season, I'm looking at you. And you know what these guys did? They spent 250 million all to lower the targets. Not even lower the targets. Say that there is no targets. Embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. You didn't give the manager all the profiles that he needed. You've weakened the squad. Instead of bringing back one of Santos or Leslie, what do? You bring me a Mugu. Not even for us. So he can go to Strasbourg next summer. And you go and you get a centre-back from Strasbourg for next summer. More work done to help Strasbourg this window than help us. More work done for next season than for right now. Incompetent. They need to get out. They need to be sacked. And not just him. The final point. Egbhali. You are the one that's in charge of all of this. It's all on you. This is you. You are the one that is pushing this model. These are your directors. This is your plan. Everything that has happened over the last 2 years has been enabled by you, because you are the majority shareholder and you are the one that has taken control. You are the one that has been pushing for 2 sporting directors so you can remain hands-on. You are the one that is always making the final call. The wage structure's on him, which as long as we got UCL, I didn't mind. We don't look like we're getting UCL now. I don't care about this wage structure. Rip it up and go and get me some proven players in the summer that can get us back to top 4, because this model isn't working. This isn't working. This is all about profit and not success. And I can accept an owner that wants profit and success. You don't want both. You want just profit. And if success comes with it, great. If not, as long as the profit's in place, you're fine. You don't care. I can't back that, and I will not back that. Egbhali must go. The sporting directors must go. Either give it to Todd Boehly under a new consortium, or if there's any truth to the fact that Clearlake can buy out, get rid of them. Get rid of them immediately. Apparently, there's a protest after the before the Southampton game. I'm going to try and push that as much as possible. I couldn't retweet it because the donut blocked me, so couldn't even retweet that. But here we are. That protest is running on before the Southampton game. I hope as many people turn up to it as possible. And honestly, in terms of the managerial situation, I cannot be manager out while these sporting directors remain employed at the club. I do not trust them to bring in another manager. I do not trust these sporting directors. And after all the money that's been spent and all the underachievement that's been completed at this club, why should they be the first? Why should they not be the first ones to go? Get rid of the sporting directors. And if that means a new sporting director comes in and sacks Maresca, so be it. So be it. But these sporting directors need to go. Egbhali needs to go. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Hit the like button, subscribe, all of that. We'll be back for some hate watches. I think it's Tottenham versus United at the late kickoff, so we're going to run that. Like, subscribe, all of that crap. Up the Chelsea. Up the Chelsea, or save the Chelsea. All of that.